just check. We are stable. We are live. Thank God. Everything is not terrible. This is great. I am Doof. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It's totally still Wednesday. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're not late.
Not late
Nope,
at all.
not a thing.
Never late. Always on time. I'm gonna ping in miners too. Oh, you did already. Oh,
I got you.
you're on top of it. Cool. So, in case anyone was wondering, this is the miners recap for week 3. We're starting to see a couple storylines emerge, which is getting exciting. And I think we'll jump right in to our game of the week. True Blue, you want to talk about this game a little bit?
This is a game where we saw some deaths of some rats, which can never be bad. I think this is the one that I'm thinking of. Let me double check. All I know is that it's one of our games that we decided to watch out for last week. It was Red Velvet Titans versus the Clan Nibblers. And so let's watch.
Yeah, so I'm going to boot it up. We'll do our normal sync on right after the coin toss when it says set up for kickoff, or set up your defense.
Sounds good, and then I'll just fall behind shortly after.
Yep.
Because that's how my system decides to work.
I realized what it was doing was I think what was happening was I was clicking through like knockouts and stuff faster than you, and that was why we kept getting desynced.
I was doing it pretty quickly too, but it just wasn't working out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And
All right.
let's see.
All right, cool. I'm set up.
You're set up? Perfect. So 3, 2, 1, unpause.
Okay.
So right off the bat, I'm seeing one claw on the Skaven team, which is always nice, but it's not Mighty Blow.
Well, it's kind of a trade-off. Do you want Mighty Blow first, which would technically be better, but you'll never... They're not guaranteed to get another double.
Oh, no.
So you gotta take Claw.
He definitely picked the right thing. It's more just he's just a little too early in leveling.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that he doesn't have the Claw Mighty Blow in time for facing the dwarves, but
Yeah.
he does have a lot of wrestle, which is great, because wrestle on line rats is actually a pretty great survival skill, because then, you know, can't get knocked over quite as easily.
Yep. So there's also Dirty Player. The thing I like about his team is that since he has a one-turner, he's keeping one gutter runner off the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not getting out-strength as easily, and he doesn't have to protect as many players.
Yeah, and
I think that's one underrated thing about having a one-turner.
And he doesn't have to risk the one-turner getting randomly smacked by a Longbeard and killed, so...
Yeah.
As we see Riot...
Well, that kick was perfect.
Yep. Already we see the first armor break and the first removal. AV7 gonna do its thing.
At least it's just a KO.
Yeah.
So looking at Ernadur, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. Oh, another stun. He has a wizard. He has a whiz kid.
He does have a wizard. I'm actually surprised he's giving up or he's got the inducements here. But I guess this Skaven team is pretty, you know, it's pretty healthy.
Yeah, it's a healthy Skaven team. And then I think, wow, I'm just surprised that Lucky Rick does, or was it Lucky Pete? I forget his name. Lucky Pete. Dwarves are just so TV efficient. You don't need doubles to get good skills on dwarves.
That's the thing, yeah, as I'm looking at this team and I'm looking at, you know, the Movement 7 AG4 runner, and I'm just surprised, yeah. You see another armor break, but still no damage.
That's alright. I'm a little bit intrigued by his decision to take Wrestle on the runner.
On the one gutter runner, or on... Oh, on the second runner.
The dwarf runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
intrigued by that.
He must be planning to eventually use him as a ball hawk cage diver type piece. My guess is he's going to take tackle and strip ball next.
Yeah. I've just never really seen that before, so I kind of intrigued in how it goes out for him, how it develops.
It is kind of the classic, like, you know, if you're the classic ball hawk build is one is wrestle, tackle, strip ball, and if your dwarves, your runners are your only piece that don't start with block. So he's kind of the one piece that can be that. So I can see the logic here, as we see he's immediately targeting that claw.
As he should. That
yeah.
is probably the piece that's going to give him the most fits this entire game.
Oh,
the rest of everything else is going to be 87.
We see a dodge immediately afterwards. That might
dodge
be a misclick.
That would have to be.
Yeah, because dodge with agility 2 is your basically first action. Generally not something you want to do.
No. That has to hurt.
I gotta believe
One thing I was going to say is that I was kind of expecting to see a foul on the claw piece.
Yeah.
Read reroll pays off.
Yep. Thick skull doing a thing.
Did Claw do a thing? Claw did do a thing.
Yep. Oh.
Dauntless. Okay.
And the Gutter Runner, showing the Claw Vermin how it's done.
It's just like, come on, you're supposed to protect me, I'm better than you.
Yep. So, as you can see, just the unfortunate side effect of misclicking and giving up that dodge is he's given up now sort of momentum to the rats. The rats basing up, though, does allow the dwarves to get it back, because they can just start punching. Gutter Runner does eat a mighty blow, but is fine.
I don't like that blitz. Fishing for pals for me is something I hate doing as a coach.
It's definitely, like, if you're offered a hit on a Gutter Runner, you generally want to take it, but you have plenty of long beards that come with tackle that have a much better shot of knocking him over. And Mighty Blow, you know, it's always nice to have, but it's not as necessary versus 87. It's still like a 42% chance of breaking.
Well, that Troll Slayer is kind of by himself and expecting a claw hit.
Yep, Troll Slayer is taking the Mighty Blow hit, actually, which I like, because Mighty Blow against AV8 is the same as Claw. So,
okay.
Now the Claw piece can technically blitz an AV9 somewhere else.
So do what Doof said, it's better.
Yep, and here comes the Claw hit. I like this. Unfortunately, he moved the Dirty Player already. Because it would have been nice to see a Dirty Player foul on one of these pieces on the floor here. Skaven has gotten kind of lucky in that it's one removal apiece so far, but that's probably not going to hold for too long unless he finds extra removals where he can, and Dirty Players are definitely a way to do that. This Claw piece is going to take a hit again.
So, I would have to say Dwarves are probably the best team at defending against the one-turns because their players are durable. Most of them have tackle.
It's really the near universal tackle. Like,
yeah.
This Dwarf team isn't fully developed, but Blitzers and Troll Slayers tend to take tackle eventually, since they're your, they tend to be your kill pieces. The one problem here is just Ernadar. He's having trouble busting through the Skaven line. He's still got time, but not that much of it.
Yeah. I think that's the hard part about being dwarves, is if you don't get removals or breaks versus 87, it can be hard to kind of break through.
Yeah. Well, and Skaven can just, he's just screening off with the Gutter Runners, keeping him back and protected for the most part, giving up rats to get smacked. Oh, it was a good try. I liked the attempt to dodge the rat out, so he didn't take a punch.
Yeah, I don't know how you get so far ahead.
Yep. More POW fishing on the gutter runner here, which does not pay off this time.
I don't mind fishing for pals if you're blitzing with like a long beard, but blitzing, is it a 3-die? I'm
No.
about to know it's not.
It's a 2-die. If he'd made it a 3-die, I think it would have been okay.
Yeah,
Or if he'd blitzed 2-die with a long beard, obviously would have worked.
yeah. So I'm intrigued to see how they're doing the side-to-side game as dwarves, because a lot of teams you just see them, oh, I'm gonna flip the field, I'm already halfway there,
Yeah.
cross the other side. But with dwarves, it's just like, I flip the field, I'm committing 3 turns to this.
Yeah, dwarves tend to just kind of stay in the center up until the point. Ooh, that's spicy. Well, I guess it doesn't hurt him, but it doesn't pay off either. But dwarves just kind of take the center of the field and don't move forward until. Ooh. I'll wait for you to catch up, but that's a big injury. Until they find that seam that they can exploit. And Skaven's doing the right thing by just screening off, saying, look, it's turn 7, eventually you're going to have to go for this.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get your dude in range.
Dirty player getting out, that is huge.
Yeah.
And then Claw, is it gonna go out?
Oh.
Foul it. That's my solution to everything, guys.
Yep. Let's see.
I don't like seeing this flip the field again. I don't like seeing it.
My main issue is he is 2 GFIs away from scoring, and that's his only piece in range.
Overall, this has been a great defensive drive for Skaven.
Well, now his Blitzer's in range, which is good, but he's got... Yeah, the Skaven are... If they can stop the score here, they're perfectly happy with how this goes. The injuries are starting to stack up a little bit. The one challenge is the one turner is now definitely going to take the field. Which, granted, it's dwarves, there's the chance that they can't catch him, but he needs this dodge, and he gets it.
So I'm intrigued to see how Toaster plays this. If he takes the one turner out on the field. I know I recently played against a Skaven coach myself, and the way he played it was very frustrating. I want to see if he kind of knows that strategy to frustrate his opponents.
Yeah. There's a passive one-turn defense and there's an active one-turn defense. The challenge is a natural one-turner. Kind of gets to ignore the active one-turn defense for the most part. Because at the end of the day, you can only spread across the field so far with 11 players.
Not following custom.
Yep. Don't know why he didn't follow there.
Maybe he thought he had an extra piece of movement. I know a lot of us do that sometimes.
Alright.
I just know I'm only now getting better with it.
And there we go. Sorry to spoil you being a little bit behind, but Dwarf makes the 2 GFIs no trouble.
Oh, that's because Lucky Pete is a freaking god.
He is a lucky player. Normally you'd think naming him Lucky Pete would be a tempting Nuffle, but it's in fact the opposite. As we do see, yep. So Dirty Player being out is actually huge in this situation because a lot of people really underestimate how efficient a Dirty Player can be at getting removals. In some cases it can be more effective than a killer if you can set up for the massive fouls. And Skaven is a team that's really good at setting up those massive fouls because their players are fast and they can isolate people really easily. So that piece is arguably more deadly to Ernadar than either of the Storm Vermin, and I think he's very happy to see it gone.
I can agree with that. I know, I'm intrigued to see what he does. He's setting up one square too far back.
So he does update,
Okay, he's fixing it.
Yep. I'm going to pause on the kickoff event here. Oh, wow. Let me know when you get to the kickoff event.
Okay. Is this where he scores? Question mark? Why is he putting his one turn? Okay. I was about to freak out at him. I think he's definitely set up his rat to the correct side, though.
Yep.
Blitz.
He's got a hole through with no tackle.
Yeah.
So you got through the
you wanted
blitz.
me to wait on the blitz?
It went a little bit beyond. I just got to the point where the rat picked up the ball. So
Okay.
let's see. We will.
Picked up.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. If you got a little bit ahead, that's fine, because I'll just catch up. Oh.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, and he
And
one's,
that's a one.
and now maybe that greed reroll not looking so hot. As we go into the half, Dwarves up 1. This is now looking very much like a 2-1 grind game. So my question here is going to be, will the Skaven coach, I'm forgetting his name right now because it's off the screen.
Toaster.
Will Toaster fall into the trap of one turning when he doesn't need to?
That is an intriguing question. I wouldn't know the answer because I don't play Skaven that often.
I am not a Skaven player, so I know that there are some Skaven coaches who are just like, if you have a one-turner, use it. But
Yeah.
if he one-turns, he's asking the Dwarves to take the full 8 turns to just march up the pitch and score again.
That is very true.
And it looks like he didn't set up for it, which is good.
Ooh, juicy one die.
Very juicy one die. I am surprised by that.
I don't think he was expecting the guard to be there, but he did not want to commit more players to hitting him.
Yeah. Guard can do that, especially, like, early on. It can surprise players who aren't really expecting it, but not punished. Not really rewarded here either. So here's now the point where the wizard starts to come into play a little bit. Because dwarves aren't necessarily the most effective wizard team. But the threat of it is really what matters here.
The threat of it is huge, and I think having Lucky Pete, if you have him in a good position, the wizard isn't as bad as dwarves.
That's true. He does have a player that can recover if it's in the right spot. And the Skaven are never going to feel super comfortable caging up because a fireball could wreck AV7 if he gets lucky
That's
with
a
the
great
rolls.
reroll. That's one thing I've noticed with a lot of coaches recently is the greed rerolls when they're not necessary.
And they dodge after using reroll.
Yeah, it's ballsy.
Yep. I suppose there wasn't much more he wanted to do this turn, but still. Yeah, it's generally, I'm okay with a greed reroll if it's your first reroll used, but especially in the second half, you really need to start thinking about reroll conservation.
Well, that's one thought process. The other thought process is, hey,
like
my
this.
team should, in theory, that's a big armor break. My team should, in theory, be able to get removals. So let's see how I can just potentially snowball it.
True.
I think that's what Ernadar was thinking. Ernadar.
Very true. What's he doing here?
2 GFIs. He's a ballsy man.
It looks like he wants to set up the threat of the score to try and force the wizard.
He's probably gonna do it.
This is actually, if this is what I think he's doing, I like this. He's moved all the way out to the side, basically saying, I'm going to score if you don't wizard right here. But then the dwarves can wizard.
Wizard's a bait. Yeah.
The dwarves can wizard, but it's not going to stop anything. The Skaven are just going to recover it and score. So it's kind of a win-win for him.
And it's no wizard, which I think is the correct choice.
Yeah, very wise by Ernadar there to not take the bait.
Yeah.
It's
And I think offensive wizards aren't necessarily used as often, but I think that could be really, really good in this game against Skaven when you struggled to break through their line in the first half.
Yeah, you could either pick a key piece and knock it on the ground.
Oh.
Ooh.
You're not supposed to do that.
Oh, and Wrestle puts him down anyway.
I would have liked to see the reroll conservation there. If he's going to score, let him score at that point.
Yeah, he already had a player back to at least threaten if Toasterbait tried to stall. Oop, and there's another GFI post reroll being used.
Yeah. But using 2 rerolls and 2 turns on defense when I don't think they're necessary hurts you when you're trying to go for a 2-1 grind.
Yeah. So here, I think after he takes his blocks, Toaster Guy does have to score. Because now the dwarves are able to, they're back closer to you. Stalling gets increasingly risky here. He might be able to do it for one more turn, because there's still no dwarves in range of the ball, but...
Yeah, I don't hate stalling for this last turn.
Yeah, especially now that he's brought the one-turner over, because now there's recovery option. And he...
There's recovery option.
Ooh.
Ooh. Don't do it!
He did it. He did it, and rewarded. So now,
Come on, guys.
The nice thing is it's 3 Agi4 players and a Sure Hands player, and Ernadar can't fireball all of them. So there's 0 chance that he knocks all of these over. So the wizard will still be wasted if he uses it, and he still conserves it. This is good.
Very, very smart. So the thing is that as Ernadar can do is he doesn't have to go after the ball. He can just say, I'm okay with the draw here. Let's see how good you are with your team dying. And just threaten to kill his team. And that would force him to score.
Looks like he's threatening that exact thing, as it turns out. And he's going for the claw piece. Just
I don't necessarily want to see that claw piece die. He has a job to do against Lavender Town Library and those 88 things.
Alright, now you have to score this turn.
A 1-die blitz? Oh, with Dauntless. Okay, but that's still sketch.
it's a 2+ Dauntless, so it's not that scary. But
One's happened enough that I'm sketched.
one's happened to him already this game with the 1-turner, and
Is he stalling?
he's flipping the field. He's stalling again.
Huh. I think... Alright, I could see it.
I could
I'm
see.
okay with the stall here.
Yeah.
Oh, don't reroll, no!
Yeah. Now it's getting risky. You're down to 1 reroll. It's not like the armor has held, it's just that the injury rolls have not been good for the dwarves. Boom, there it is. And he gets 1 KO. But that's it. So, that is what Toaster wanted, and now the wizard is gone.
But 3 turns to steal and score as Skaven is not impossible. It's just very, very hard against dwarves. I would have liked to see him have a little bit more time.
Yeah. I think he's... At this point, he's indicating that he's fine with the tie here.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a dub skull, and that's your final reroll gone. And this is why it might have been good to have 2 or 3 left at this point.
And it might have been good to just not use that reroll for your offense coming up.
Yeah.
Even though it sucks to take a dub skull.
And he takes another.
Alright, that's punishment for you not taking that other dub skull.
Yep.
Ernadar, I want you to look at your reroll usage. Because I think he could have been a lot more dominant in the second half. Not necessarily taking those rerolls, but again, I don't know how it goes. Another stall. He is completely okay with the tie here.
And Toaster does save his last reroll. Possibly thinking if somehow the dwarves do manage to score after he stalls this long, if he has one last chance to 1-turn, probably wants the reroll for that.
The thing is that he's going to have 2 chances to defend and 3 chances to score for Ernadar.
It's true.
The reroll isn't really valued as much this late in the game when he's going to score.
At the same time, I think he made the right call not wasting it on a line rat.
Yeah, I just think the right call was scoring before this point.
Yeah.
And I would have gone for the thrower even though Gundam runners are so juicy.
And he does finally score there.
I just think giving yourself 3 turns to get scored against when there is a elf out there dressed as a dwarf.
Yeah, it's a little bit risky. Movement 7, pretty big upgrade from Movement 6. Might have to get a little starchy to do it, but it's certainly possible. I think Toaster Bait is relying on his Wrestle Dauntless Gutter Runner here, which is not a bad piece to rely on, to be fair.
It's not a bad piece. I guess I'm just still shocked at how long the stall went out when you're the game. I guess it's just me always trying to win the game. That I was so shocked at that.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't taking that many blocks, so there really wasn't an incentive for him to score.
So he's going with the offset formation here, which can be great if he has a blitz and the dwarves overcommit. But if they don't overcommit, there's no blitz. I guess it's really just not really a bad situation to do that offset.
Yeah. One thing I would have liked to see Ernadar do is he does get a reroll. That's pretty huge. I guess it didn't matter, but I would have liked to see his Wrestle Runner back to receive, and then Lucky Pete a little bit more forward to run up the field and get the ball handed off to him.
I could see that.
Just so that if the ball had been kicked behind Lucky Pete, then he would have had to waste a turn running back to pick it up, and when you've only got 3 turns left, that can be pretty killer. He probably would have been reduced to running a blitzer down the field and trying to go for a pass play.
Yeah, I could definitely see what you're talking about.
Oh, and it looks like actually the wrestle runner's going to be the ball carrier here, so he may be looking
So
to
a
get a
little
level on the wrestle runner, or get close to a level.
Can his movement really work out? Okay, I see what you're doing. He's caging.
Yeah.
I caught up with you. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Caging up, you're going to have a sure hands Agi 4 pickup. Very, very likely to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I like what he's done here. I'm going to retract my earlier statement. I think this is smart. The only risk now, and fortunately he did get a reroll on the kickoff, so it's mitigated, is the handoff is to an Agi 3 instead of an Agi 4, so it's a 3+. But with a reroll, that's very likely to succeed.
Ooh, basing while you're elf screening. Don't do it, kids. Don't do it.
Don't do it against a frenzy piece. Oh.
No. I'm just wondering what the ooh was about now.
Well, wait for it.
Oh, that's failed GFI?
Yep.
Okay. Is it 1 in 36?
No, it's not. It's just his
Okay.
last reroll is now burned.
I don't like that. I think you're gonna blitz. I would have liked to see the claw player do the blitz.
Yeah. So he can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Lucky Pete is in range with no GFIs, so now that I'm seeing him kind of reverse the field on the Skaven, maybe we do see Lucky Pete just hold the ball, run through that diagonal seam the dwarves opened, and just take the right side of the field here.
I wouldn't hate that. You put tackle on those gutter runners. You kind of seal off the edge. I think that's probably a play that you should do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he's sort of caged up again, or screened off, really. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I miscounted. He's got 1 GFI. Oh my good. Oh, I almost wanted that to work. So that's the danger of a one-turner. Obviously it did not work, but you cannot leave any cage corner open because they can run around and smack it.
Timeout. He went the long way around when he had a dodge reroll against a no tackle piece.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did not take dodges. He took the go for it.
Oh, that would have been... He would have made that then.
Yeah.
It's possible that could have been different. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, Toasterbait, if you see this, we do recommend taking a quick look back at that turn 16, seeing if you can see the route through with dodge, because dodge is always going to be preferable to GFIs, at least until that player gets sure feet. As Aussie says, good thing we aren't watching my last game. Well, I mean, we'll take a look at your last game in a moment, but we won't watch it. Congratulations to Ernadar, 2-1 win. Very nicely done at the end there to kind of punch his way through the field. Very nicely done by Clan Nibblers. They thought their defense in the first half was excellent, and he had serious balls to stall as long as he did in the second half.
Yeah, I think that was probably his downfall. Sure, you might give up the win more easily, giving them more turns to score, but at the same time, you're giving yourself more opportunities to potentially turn it over and win yourself.
Yeah. Titans block dice was slightly hot, but otherwise unremarkable. Nibblers, just again slightly hot block dice. Their D6s were pretty unremarkable. The ones just came at terrible times. So, but congrats to Ernadar, commiserations to Toasterbait. That was I felt a very clean game overall, with the one thing, I think both players were a little too happy to throw rerolls and GFIs.
I think in the first half it wasn't as bad, but the second half is just like reroll after every small thing.
Yeah. And Nibbler's only a 71% chance, or 71% success on their GFIs, which is pretty rough. Well, on that note, I think it's a good time to take a look. We're already in Europe, so let's take a look at how we did in the previous week. If you recall, I did keep track of who we predicted, and let's go ahead and take a look. The first match of Europe was Joker's Legion versus Lavender Town Library.
I think we both selected Lavender Town Library.
We did, and I don't think it's too much of a surprise. Lavender Town Library is just a deadly Dark Elf team, coached by an excellent coach, and they shredded through Joker's Legion here. Which
yeah, the one thing I've noticed is there is now a brand new blitzer
on the library.
Yep.
Well, it does
China, Starmyville.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It does look like they did take some injuries, so I'm sure one of the blitzers may have taken a perm that Blank Fate didn't like. Is that Gogma or?
Yeah, Gogma.
Yeah, that Gogma didn't like. So, and Joker's Legion. Let's take a look at how
The werewolf died, I believe.
Oh.
It looks like the regen did not do a thing.
Yep,
this
that's
last
rough.
game.
It's a new werewolf, so he's fortunately able to replace it. But
That was supposed to be the second one.
yep, now he still only has one, and he's down to 10 players. So
Oh man,
that's rough.
he's in a very tough spot playing a developed league with fresh Necro, which I think need to get development before they're competitive.
Yeah, and there is 0 development so far on this team after 3 weeks. He's had a really rough go of it. He's getting.
He started off hot. He got a win early.
Yep, he's getting SPP on players, but he's also getting a lot of SPP on zombies, which is really rough for your early development.
Is it just the MVPs?
It's just MVPs and then a random Kaz by one zombie, which honestly, you take it. But 2 MVPs went to zombies,
Aw,
which is rough.
it's the curse of the zombie.
Yep. But overall, not that surprising. We both get a point there. Next up, we have the Knobbly Knights versus Hell's Doofuses. We both
I
picked.
think we both get a point.
Yep, we both picked Hell's Doofuses to win. Poor Luthish, man. I think he's just his Bretts are just struggling to get any sort of traction in the league.
The thing is that when I'm looking at this team, I think it should be somewhat successful, but then I'm looking at his blocker development, which is key for like getting guard, other players as well, and there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
I would probably say cut two of your peasants is probably what I'd do. As much as you love Dooley, the Mighty Blow guy,
Yep.
I'd probably cut him. That's 70k of gonna get injured real quick.
Yeah, with the AV6, it's rough. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the blockers are completely all rookies, which makes it really tough to kind of sit in the middle and brawl and knock stuff over, and also find assists for your blitzers to do their thing. And he's got nice blitzers, like Sir Dingleberry still needs some levels, but all the others are quite nice.
Yeah, I don't think you're complaining with 2 Mighty Blow pieces.
Yeah.
I just think you want to take advantage of some inducements more, in cutting 2 linemen, 2 peasants would probably net you at least a bribe.
Yeah.
That way you can play your game of fouling pieces to death.
Yep. Brett's play a really good foul game, so I think that would be a good way to go about it. So we'll see if he can turn it around moving forward. Next up, we got Lizard Blizzard versus Old New York Sewer Rats. We both picked wrong here. I think.
So we both picked the Old New York Sewer Rats, but
We
then
did.
one of them decided to die on us.
And here's the thing, I'm now wondering if we're sleeping on Gemini Rick a little bit. He's been playing with an underdeveloped Lizard team that got shredded in the first game of the season, and he's been doing really well with it. So, clearly something's going
yeah.
on there. Like,
201, his only loss is when he got shredded. He's obviously knows what he's doing with Lizards.
yep. And he's got, the Skinks are great, and the Skinks are actually, I think, propping him up a little bit while he gets that Saurus development, so it's keeping him competitive.
And he's so close to getting block on 2 more pieces.
Yeah. We might see some Saurus vanity passes coming in.
So, I just want to say this real quick. The Old New York Sewer Rats, they lost the brain too,
Oh god,
and
was
that was the Movement 10 Edge 5 thing.
Oh,
He
that's
died to
painful.
death because a different gutter runner decided to eat it and use the APO.
That's sometimes
So,
the problem with having
Tetsuya.
too many good gutter runners is just you can't pick which one to save the APO for. Like, and yeah,
No.
sometimes you have those games where all of them decide it's time to take stat busts.
Yep. And it wasn't a stat bust, it was straight death, both
Yeah.
of them.
Or yeah,
So
stat
the
busts
APO
are death.
saved one of them.
Whew.
So it could have been worse, but Tetsuya has to pay up on it.
Yep. So the first bounty has been claimed very early in the season, which is good. And yeah, look at this team. It's still pretty deadly. Even losing a movement 10 piece always hurts when you're Skaven, but he's still got an agility 5 wrestle strip ball rat. He's still got another wrestle rat. He's got 2 decently developed storm vermin. He's finally got a mutation on a thrower. You know, extra arms is nice. Yeah, it's still in a good position as a team, I think. So,
Yeah.
despite the death.
He has amazing development everywhere else, but losing that piece probably hurts him just a little bit.
Bit painful.
Especially since, oh man, even with all that development, he's 003.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just been unlucky breaks.
Well, I mean, given how much his team has been beat up, it sounds like he's having trouble. He's falling behind early in players and then just having trouble playing from behind. So
I
We
think
should,
that's probably the hardest skill to learn is how to play from behind.
I know I'm still learning it. Maybe we should try to catch one of his games in the near future. See how he's playing it.
Let's do it.
Cool. Next up, here's the first difference we had. Rat Street Boys versus Blacklisters Union. I picked Rat Street, and you picked Blacklisters Union, and you won.
Woo woo!
But I see why. It was a concede.
It was a what? Was it a legal concede?
It might have been an admin win.
Oh, this was the one that I said wasn't going to get played. That doesn't count.
Okay, so we won't count that one. That's okay.
That was the one that I saw on Discord earlier that day.
Got it. Yep. So that one it didn't happen. Congratulations to Blacklisters Union. Got no chaos. Got no levels out of it. It looks like, but a Chaos Warrior took one of the MVPs, so he's pretty happy about that.
Oh yeah.
Next up, though, Morporkian Misdemeanors versus Sadomasochrists. We split. I said Sadomasochrists. You said Morporkian.
And I was wrong.
Haha. But it looks like it came at a cost for the Sadomasochrists, as he's a very naughty boy. The guard armor-busted catcher is no longer with us.
it sucks that you lost him. It's not the worst thing in the world.
It's really not. He was always gonna die. Now he has died. Now you can get SPP on other players that are gonna stick around longer.
Exactly.
But yeah, looks like it really looks like Sadomasochrist just controlled the game though. Sometimes in mirror matchups, it does, come down to who gets the better dice. Or who just
and he
shows up.
actually messaged me last week, and he's just like, I don't always play like elves. It's just the last game I did not want to deal with his claw, and that was the game I happened to watch of his.
Yep. But sometimes playing like elves works, elves are known for their ability to win the game, so... and yeah, it looks like he played extremely well this game, as far as I can tell just from the stats, so congratulations. But then, last but not least, Clan Nibblers vs. Red Velvet Titans, which we just watched. I picked Clan Nibblers because I believed in the one-turner. The one-turner rolled a 1, so Red Velvet Titans took it 2-1.
He rolled a 1 on the catch. It's not even like he rolled a 1 on the last GFI.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't like... He didn't even go anywhere, but...
yeah.
So yeah. So that was Europe. We are tied at the end of Europe, I think 3-3, if I counted correctly there. I have it written down on the sheet. The total's written down on the sheet here. But I'm not going to reveal them yet, because we still have to look at the U.S. But before we do that...
we also have to do our guesses, yeah.
Yeah, we got to do our guesses. So, first up, Joker's Legion, Morporkian Misdemeanors. Who do you think here?
This is a tough one. Just because Morporkian Misdemeanors, if I remember correctly, they haven't been doing the hottest this year. They're 102. 1270 is their current TV. Let me take a look at their team real quick. I'm going with Joker's Legion.
I would say if Joker's Legion wasn't still a completely fresh team, I'd agree with you. But with no skill ups yet, I gotta believe the humans are gonna be able to do it. So,
dude, just believe in Wilhelm. That's all you have to do.
It's true. He will get Wilhelm or some other really nice inducement, but the risk of inducing Wilhelm is if Wilhelm wins the game for you and hogs all the SPP, your team still doesn't develop.
You just use Wilhelm to blitz. It's okay.
Next up, Red Velvet Titans versus Rat Street Boys. So, I don't know.
Rat Street Boys. I want to remember. I always struggle because there's 3.
Yeah, I should look at Rat Street Boys here. I think Rat Street Boys are the non-bullshit Skaven team, but
they are the non-bullshit one.
They have 4 level ups.
4.
Wow.
I struggled just because I don't know what those are.
Yeah, I believe in Ernadar after watching him kind of put a clinic on Skaven while not getting very many removals. So I'm gonna go Red Velvet Titans on this one, but I think depending on what those level ups are, that could really swing it if one of those is a really nice stat up or mutation.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ernadar as well.
Yeah. He's quietly putting together a really nice season, so...
nice season, he has a nice team.
Yeah.
What's there not liked about it?
Yep. Speaking of people quietly putting together a nice season, the Wizard Blizzard is up against Clan Nibblers next, so Gemini Rick against Clan Nibblers.
This is going to be an intriguing game, because I believe Wizard Blizzard has quite a few. Let me go back. He has at least 3 block, and I think 1 tackle.
He does have a tackle, so that's actually pretty huge.
I'm going with Lizard Blizzard.
I think I am too. I keep saying it every week, and eventually it's going to be true. If there ever is going to be a shootout, I feel like Lizard Blizzard's going to be involved. Because he's just got such nice skinks that can score so quickly. And he's going to be up against a team with a one-turner, so they can also score quickly. But...
this would be a matchup to watch out for.
Yeah. This might be a good one to catch. Rick and Toaster Bait, if you guys are playing your game at a time when I can stream it, be sure to ping me, because I might be curious. Next up, Sadomasochrist versus Knobbly Knights.
I can't go against the boob. He proved me wrong last week, so I'm gonna have to stick with him.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna stick with Sadomasochrist as well because I rode it last week and it worked really well. And Bluefish at 0-0-3, I think, is he's gonna have to like work to turn his season around at this point. So I think if Bluefish is able to play his game and get the breaks, and if he sheds some TV, so he's taking some inducements into this game, he stands a pretty decent shot. But as it stands right now, I'm backing the humans.
I agree with you. If there was a potential bribe involved, I would possibly more be willing to go with Bluefish here.
Yeah. Next up,
Ooh.
Blacklisters Union versus Lavender Town Library. That's actually an interesting game.
Yeah, so Blacklisters Union, this is a really well-developed Chaos team. These Chaos Warriors are just feeling good, feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of them are level 3.
That's really nice.
Yeah. But I just don't see how Lavender Town Library loses.
Until he does lose, it's difficult to bet against him, it feels like.
Yeah. Until he does lose, and the thing is just... I only saw one tackle on the other side, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dodge.
Yeah. Chaos...
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, Chaos is kind of in that awkward mid-game where they don't have a dedicated, like a fully dedicated killer with all the kill skills yet. Because it takes a little while to develop a Beastman into that, because he needs block, mighty blow, tackle, piling on. So... and claw.
Yeah, he already has Mighty Blow Claw. Now he just... in theory, you can go piling on, or I like the kind of cheeky route where you go with tackle as your next skill. Just because a lot of people already have block, where if you go tackle, at least you're still giving yourself 2 chances of success.
Exactly. Tackle arguably makes him more reliable at hurting things than piling on does. And it's also a little less risky because he's not putting himself on the ground to do it.
Exactly.
So I think, I think Lavender Town Library here, but if there was a team that I thought stood a decent chance, it would be Blacklisters Union if he can get some early breaks and do standard Chaos shenanigans.
Yeah, I just, it's going to be hard for me to bet against Gakma at this point in time.
Agreed. Next up, and last but not least, the Old New York Sewer Rats are taking their slightly diminished team up against Hell's Doofuses, so the other Chaos team. And Yorick's got a pending level on a Chaos Warrior who has Mighty Blow, so that's going to be either block or claw. And I would argue for block at this point.
I would argue the same thing. Huh.
Chaos Warriors kind of need to be pillars, so you take block on them much earlier than you do on a killer Beastman. Hell's Doofuses is a nice team, but it feels a little less developed than the Blacklisters Union.
It does, but... This is going to be a tough game. I'm going to have to go with the Old New York Sewer Rats. Maybe, hold on. No, I'm going with Hell's Doofuses.
You're going with Hell's
changing my mind.
Alright, I'm going to go with New York Sewer Rats.
Okay.
I know he's had a rough start to the season, but I do believe in this team, and I believe in the coach. And I think this Chaos team is just really ill-equipped at this stage in development to deal with as much gutter runner as New York Sewer Rats have.
I'm betting on AV7 being like AV7 that game.
Yeah. Ironically, Claw's
and then he also has a really nice ball carrier. He has a Blodge Sure Hands ball carrier, so...
That is nice, but... We'll see. Agi5 Wrestle Strip Ball can get anywhere and wrestle you to the ground, so...
Yeah, he still has to do an uphill die, though.
That's true, but...
And with Sure Hands, it counters that.
True. The Strip Ball doesn't work, but... yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. But that's it for Europe. Let's take a look at the good old US of A here.
Whoop, whoop.
And Australia before Aussie says anything. But first up is your game, Ghoulbusters versus Balthor's Bashers.
You went against me like a fool.
I did, and I was wrong. I believed in the dwarf.
That was your first mistake.
It
You're
was.
supposed to believe in the human BS.
It was very true. So tell me a little bit about how this game went.
He did not expect Frenzy on my team. I don't know. Since we're still technically a rookie league, I just guess he didn't expect my killer to have Frenzy, and he set up so that way I can get removal turn 1 with Frenzy.
Ah, that's
And
nice.
yeah, and then his positioning was just a bit off, and I took advantage of it this game.
Very
where
nice.
He was set up too far back. He had an induced chainsaw, and the chainsaw decided to go, well, I'm way too far back. I went to the other side, baited the chainsaw a little bit closer, took him off the field, and all of a sudden I'm 2 men up against dwarves.
Nice. And yeah, dwarves punish positioning really hard, both ways. If you position poorly against dwarves, they're going to take the entire field and just punch you down repeatedly. But if you position badly as dwarves, the other team's going to run around you.
Yeah, and the other side note, Stubings, the ogre, actually leveled this game.
Very nice.
Only took him 16 games to get a Kaz, but he did it.
Very nice. What did he take? Guard? Or
Yeah, he took guard. I needed some extra guard.
nice. Next up, we got Rebel Orcs versus Bifrost Guardians. We both picked Rebel Orcs, and we were both right.
The orcs were the Norse killer, where they took Mighty Blow over guard in
Yep.
most situations.
He built specifically
So.
to counter AV7 teams without dodge, and it worked out.
Who would have thought?
Yep. Not that surprising, I think. Yeah, it looks like he just, 5 injuries inflicted, 2 KOs. He just 69 blocks, just removed a bunch of Norse, marched up the field, scored.
Yeah. And the Rebel Orcs are slowly becoming a much better team. You'll notice that there is a lack of a dirty player blitzer.
That's good.
And now there is a excess of strength 4 blitzer.
Oh boy. Oh my. Where is he? Hold on. There he is.
Second page.
Oh my. Yeah, Strength 4 Mighty Blow Blitzer is a nice piece to have.
Oh yeah. You give him tackle next, you're feeling good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is slowly becoming a very nice team. I think it still needs guard, but most of these pieces are going to level and take guard, I think.
Yeah. I was actually talking to his mentor, Papa Nasty, because he's casting this game yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And I was just like, why is he not taking guard yet? And he's just like, well, as orcs, they're going to outbash most people. You might as well just try to keep on getting kills, and eventually you will get guard, you will get tackle coming up.
Yep.
So
Oops.
he was very against guard early on orcs, which I was surprised at.
Well, he's definitely the torchbearer for the killy orc style as opposed to the control orc style. So not that surprising.
All right,
And it works well for
I
him.
guess it's just different for me because I've just always played kind of that control style.
I
That's the
tend
way I favor
I
it.
tend to do a little bit of control with a little bit of elf thrown in. I don't know if you've seen my thrower, but he's pretty silly. Next up, we got Fluffy Fighting Force versus Winged Centaurs. It's Aussie's team versus... I actually forget who plays the Skaven here. I probably should know this at
It
this
is
point.
Merrill.
Merrill. And it was a tie. We both picked
Yeah.
Winged Centaurs, and it ended up just being a 1-1 tie.
God damn it, Ozzy, you're supposed to... I'm just kidding. Apparently he made a big mistake in the first half. Skaven were able to score like Skaven should.
Yeah, sometimes the rough thing of playing a slow team is sometimes your opponent scores once, and then all of a sudden you're playing for a draw. and it can feel really frustrating.
Yeah.
He got 6 KOs and 3 injuries, and outblocked the Skaven very heavily, so it looks like he played Chaos Dwarf for most of the match, but...
Yeah. He also niggled a Storm Vermin, sorry.
Ooh,
So,
that is
bit of
nice.
a drat.
I wonder if he's going to keep him.
That's tough to say, just because how much money does? Well, he has a lot of money in the bank. That's also the other thing.
He's
is
got
that
enough to replace.
He had a lot of
Yeah.
money in the bank that
Oh, it's
he
only-
could have gotten more inducements.
Oh, it's only a guard Storm Vermin. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Meryl, if you see this, replace the Storm Vermin, buy another lineman or two, and get yourself below 150, because it's actually going to actively hurt your ability to win games.
Yes.
Which is, we want to see you win games, so we want to see everybody
Yeah.
win games.
Unless it's against me, I'm not gonna lie.
I want to see everybody win games. I have no stake in this, so.
You know what? I just hope Shador beats you to a pulp next time you guys play.
He's the division below me, so I'm safe for a season.
Wait, how is he in the division below you? Didn't he go like undefeated on his way to a minors championship?
I think he was almost undefeated. I think Steak Mittens beat him actually, but then his team got shredded in playoffs and the Open Invitational, so he got downgraded a division because otherwise he would have been taking like 1,300 lizards into a division of 1,600 and 1,700 teams. So,
Oh man.
they took pity on him, I guess.
And then he came back a game later, and now is
Completely
bullying
fine.
everybody else.
Because he's Shadora, and he's really, really, really good at the game.
Yeah, I was showing pictures of him of our teams, and it's just like it's kind of like sharing baby pictures when you share pictures of your team.
Yep.
And we're just both like super happy. I'm just like, well, I'm undefeated, and he's just like, well, so am I.
Yep. I'm not. I am learning that I'm actually not very good at this game, or at least not as good as I thought I was, and it's a bit of a humbling moment, but
That happens.
yeah, it's also
I was
just
like
more motivation
CCL.
to get better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick out the orcs for one more season and see where they are at the end, but I'm actually considering re-rolling to Norse at the end of the season, so.
No, just go humans. You see my build. I've sent you pictures. I've talked about how I want to build them.
Yeah, but I mean, you can roll strength and I can't, so. Next
Fair.
up, as
Very
we
fair.
get a little off topic there, the Delphoff, Blitzy Ricks versus Salty Chips, ended in a 1-1 draw.
We're both wrong.
We're both wrong again, and yeah, actually does not look like much happened to this game. They punched each other a bit. No one really got hurt. Salty Chips.
Both coaches. I watched the game, and both coaches kind of misplayed certain opportunities. Salty Chips could have won. All he had was a 2+ to do a 2-die blitz, and he would have surfed the ball carrier to pretty much ice the game, and he didn't see it.
Oh, that's the worst when that gets pointed out to you later too. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so obvious. In my playoff game versus Shadora, I missed a 3+ dodge into a 2-die on his ball carrier with wrestle tackle. And then later, when Hindus pointed it out to me, I was like, "Oh, you've got to be kidding me!"
Yeah, it's absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
You're just like, what could have happened when those things get pointed out to you?
Yep.
But the thing I want to say about Ingra is that he was relying too much on his strength 4 witch that did not have block or wrestle. So he is punished with the 1 and 9s.
Yep. Yeah, Strength 4 is great, and Strength 4 on a witch is amazing, but you definitely want to get that witch another level as soon as possible and get her block.
Yeah, and one thing I said to him is that you want to blitz with your blitzers. Like, Strength 4 is awesome and all, but you just want to save that for potential surfs, in my opinion.
Yeah. And also, he's going to want to feed that witch a few more touchdowns just to get her one more level.
Oh, yeah.
So she can take block, and then you can start surfing with her.
Oh, yeah. And then if she rolls dubs, give her a Juggernaut.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad way to go about it, but he doesn't have doubles on his team yet, so we are actually having a conversation about this, and it's just like Juggernaut or Mighty Blow. They're both really good options.
Yeah, Dark Elves.
If it was the first double.
Dark Elves especially benefit from 1 or 2 strength skills on the team. Just a Blitzer with Mighty Blow or a Witch Elf with Juggernaut, and it becomes a completely different team. So,
yeah.
And then next up, another draw. So we're both wrong again. Man, you guys are boring this week. What happened?
Hey, I did my job. Calm down.
Lizards Anonymous and Nuffles Unfavored did not turn into a shootout like you might expect with Skaven versus Wood Elves. It turned into a 0-0.
I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, that was, I guess both teams played impeccable defense. I mean, they're both good defensive teams for different reasons. Wood Elves have Dancers that are just the antithesis of Skinks, and Lizards have a wall of high-strength pieces that can just get in the way and stop you from moving anywhere. So,
yeah, and
guess,
you don't have to tell me about those Lizards. They
Yep.
are... Those Skinks are unbreakable.
Yep.
I'll just say that.
Yeah, so both coaches played good defensive games, and as a result, it ended like a 0-0 game in the World Cup.
Where's
and
the
then-
penalty shootouts then?
Yeah, not yet. You guys have to wait till playoffs for those.
I just played a random league, and I had to go to penalties. It is so stressful.
It's no
Moving
fun.
on.
It's, I mean, yeah, it's no fun. Moving on, last but not least, Old World Wardens versus Teenage Bottle Rockets, and I think you got me again on this one. Or no, we were both wrong on this one, actually.
We were both wrong. We both said, you know what? We're believing in Teenage Bottle Rocket. And then
Yeah.
Tetsuya said, guys, I'm the college champ for the reason.
Yep. Well, we believed in the Claw, and it looks like the Claw just didn't fire enough to be meaningful. 48 blocks against the Undead, but that only led to 3 KOs, 1 injury. Off of 18 armor breaks, too. So that was pretty low conversion rate there for the Chorfs.
That was a... Okay, there we go. I was looking at it, and I'm just like, that is not correct. He was playing some friendly games. When I
And
was trying to look at Tetsuya's team.
another Hobgoblin stole the level, so... Or stole the MVP and leveled.
That's bad. Jimmy, he's gotten Blodge now.
Ooh.
That is the one thing I was intrigued about last week.
Is that on Old World Wardens?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's his Edge 4 goal.
Yep. So that is now an amazing player, at least until he dies.
I'm just wondering what he's doing.
Probably some
Okay.
practice games.
Yeah,
you can
but
play
against Kislev when there's none in our division.
Maybe he just wants to learn how to play against Kislev. You can play friendlies, as many friendlies as you like with your Rebel team. So,
You can. I was just confused with it. I'm just like, alright, if he's helping out somebody, he's helping out somebody. But
definitely.
yeah, I think you're leading me by 1 or I tied.
You're leading me by 1, actually. So,
Oh.
congratulations.
I'm a much better chooser than you.
I'm
As
gonna
of 1
say,
week.
I'm gonna say beginner's luck, but we'll see how it goes this
Whoa,
week.
whoa.
I'm teasing.
Alright, so week 4, I'm going to choose me over Lizards, and I'm
Yep.
going to choose Orcs over Dark Elves.
What a surprise!
I'm
Got
going
it.
to do the same thing. So neither of those are going to count because they're already played, but we're also not going to talk about them until next week. So congratulations to True Blue and who plays Rebel Orcs? It's Sherlock.
Sherlock.
Um,
And commiserations, Cap. Just commiserations.
I'm not going to look at it until after we turn off the stream because I don't want to spoil, but I'll take a look after.
Phil's bad, man. I'll just say that.
First up, Fluffy Fighting Force versus Balthor's Bashers. How do you feel about this? Dwarves versus Skaven again.
I'm going Dwarves.
I'm gonna go Skaven.
There's too many loners on
Hmm.
Skaven for me to like them.
That's true. The Skaven are pretty beaten up. Yeah, I'm gonna go dwarves. I'm with you. And then
Okay.
Bifrost Guardians versus Teenage Bottle Rocket.
This is going to be an intriguing game for me.
Has he replaced both his ults yet? Or
So a Bull Centaur's out on Teenage Bottle Rocket, which is
Ooh.
going to hurt. There's
Enter.
only one Mighty Blow on his side, which is going to hurt.
Mhm.
But the game that Norse want to play is the base game, and Chorfs can pretty much counter it.
Yeah.
And he went with his niggled Ulf. He went guard, so that thing is going to get hit some more and more.
Yeah, he's gonna ride it until I think he has the cash to replace it, and the other one gets a level. But that does mean it's risky. It's AV8 with a niggle, so it's gonna go down, and it's gonna get knocked off the pitch pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to have to go with Teenage Bottle Rocket. Their only loss is to Tetsuya. I can't really bet against it.
yeah, I think I'm going with Teenage Bottle Rocket as well, just because it's without Mighty Blow on the north side, really. Unless the Yeti does work, which is never guaranteed with a Yeti, it's going to be really tough for him to play the Norse game, which is get up on players and control the entire pitch. So, next up, Old World Wardens versus Winged Centaurs. This is going to be a game. Aussie versus Tetsuya.
I am excited to see this one. I want to see if Tetsuya can do what he did last week against another Chorf team, because after this, you'd have to imagine Tetsuya's schedule gets easier because he got rid of both the Claw team.
Yeah, it's I gotta say, I still believe in the Winged Centaurs. I think I still believe in Aussie, and being Undead still really do have a tough match against Claw.
They do.
So I think I'm gonna pick Winged Centaurs in this one.
I'm gonna go with Tetsuya. I went against him last week, and he proved us wrong.
I do not blame you. He's an excellent coach, but I know Aussie is a good coach too, and yeah, just the Claw might be a problem for Tetsuya, because eventually
Yep.
it does break. And Aussie will be playing with inducements, and it's a Claw Mighty Blow piece. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Last but not least, Salty Chips versus Knuffles Unfavored.
Ooh. Grab on the tree helps out.
Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. I tend to favor Wood Elves a little bit, because they're better at scoring, and Dark Elves don't have the same removal tools that other teams have.
With me knowing what one of these levels up are, I'm gonna go with Salty Chips.
Yeah. Well, what is one of those levels? Just out of curiosity.
I will tell you after the stream, because he's only told me and I don't want to blow up his spot before the game.
Fair enough. I will not say any. I will say no more. But given you're so confident in it, I think I'm gonna go Salty Chips as well. Yeah, I think. Actually, no. Let's have a little more drama in here. I'm gonna pick Knuffles Unfavored, because I think Wood Elves just kind of have the matchup advantage against Dark Elves being faster, and Dark Elves not really being able to remove them as reliably as Bash teams can.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. This very well might be the one that we have to cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Elf-Offs
But,
are often really fun for a different reason than you normally see, because they sometimes go really bloody, but they always go, they score a lot, so.
Yeah.
Cool. And on that note, that is it for the week. Congratulations to all the coaches doing well so far. It's still early days, so there's plenty of time for those who are having a little trouble early to catch up. But next week we'll be back Wednesday, normal time. I've been Doof.
And I'm True Blue, and it's still Wednesday. I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Exactly. It's still Wednesday. We'll see you a week from today, which is still Wednesday. All right. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.